we are seeing an increase, especially on the south side of Chicago, in just AI fraud. Leases that are being written, squatters that are coming up with leases and saying, hey, I have a lease that's signed, et cetera. All these documents that are just being written with quick prompt. Welcome. My name is Tim, and with me as always, my partner, Dave.
Hey, everybody.
We're going to break this down into two sections, Dave. The first is the bad of AI. Pretty much was able to chase, hack into Google, screw up things if it really wanted to. They're not releasing it because it's too powerful. So they're going to fix some things. They're going to make it a little more safer for public use and come out with it. But I was playing around with it the other day, and we do in-house maintenance, right? Obviously, I think we've talked about that before. We have a maintenance team, et cetera. Along with our GC license, we're also a licensed pest control company. And the plan here by 2027 is to start offering that to external owners and external people that are looking for pest control. So I told AI, hey, I need a pest control company website. Name of the company, here's a logo, make me one. This thing took 5 minutes. And just talking about 6 a home pricing page, an about us page, a blog page.
It's intense. I've done a similar thing because my position within Chicago Style Management is to work with new owners. So I'm constantly sending out PDFs and things of that nature to clients to kind of show them what we do. And I just plugged in our content, and it was unbelievable stuff that it came up with to help it promote, for marketing purposes, stuff that would have taken me 6-7 hours to do.
Yeah. We can make videos. We can make a ton of documents. I mean, it is, at this point, a lot of our Facebook stuff that we're doing is, hey, here's an idea. Make me 3 or 4 Facebook posts so we can start posting them. And it's doing the images. It's doing the writing. It's doing the captions, all of that stuff. Well, tenants can use that too. And so we are seeing an increase, especially on the south side of Chicago, in just AI fraud. Leases that are being written, squatters that are coming up with leases and saying, hey, I have a lease that's signed, et cetera. All these documents that are just being written with a quick prompt and then either being used by the people making it or, I mean, in my opinion, probably being sold to these people by someone that's making a quick buck. But it's literally, hey, here's a real pay stub for someone that works at XYZ, my name on it and my social and my address instead. And then AI is doing all the, it takes a few seconds and all of a sudden you have a pay stub that you can download. So there's some scary things. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we are making sure we're staying away from fraud and then, some things that you guys can do as well. But first one is having software that can actually scrub these pay stubs. So this software that we use, it's called Verifast. They are actually taking the document, scrubbing it, just like when you fire a gun, there's ballistics that are left behind on the bullet, et cetera. Mm-hmm. When you edit a file, there's little fragments that the computer can see that it was edited. It's crazy because it will literally tell you, hey, look, this pay stub says it's Jennifer, but it was actually a pay stub from, this is where they erased the documentation that's wrong. This is the font they use that's wrong. This is the, it doesn't have the right seal. It doesn't have the right watermark, et cetera. Digitally investigating those pay stubs. Part 2 is using something such as like Clear or other facial recognition that can take the driver's license and then have them hold their phone up to their face. And it will have them take a quick picture like this. They're taking a picture of their face, take a picture of their ID, and it will actually scan it and make sure that the person is the right person. It's the same software that they're using for airports. Downside to all of this is 100%. It's going to cost me. And watch last episode. If you haven't, make sure you click on the link and watch the last episode. But if you haven't yet, Illinois just passed a law that will be taking effect in January that will make it to where you can only charge a certain amount for application fees. So you might have to pay a little bit, but it's way better to pay that little bit than to get stuck with someone that's never going to pay their bill.
So in essence, as it becomes harder and harder to accept an application and to verify able to charge for those services.
Yep.
Fun.
Good old Illinois, just in time. Make it harder as things get as things get harder.
I think another portion of this that's super important is to not only rely on those. You have to actually put in some footwork yourself, meaning that people are using cloners to, do different voices to say they're the boss, right? So if you're doing stuff like
Industries.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Find out who's working there. Hell, if you're close enough, go in. Go into the place and see if they're actually working there. Because, you'll all of a sudden, man, I've Googled place. One is like, oh, I work at the location. Okay, Google. Well, that's a middle of the forest or middle of some farmland. You definitely do not work there. Or, I work at a chicken shack and you Google the address and it's someone's house. It's like, no, that doesn't work. That's incorrect. So doing a little bit of Google research. A big one for me is landlord research, right? Like, hey, my past landlord is Bob and he owns this property. Well, let me look at the tax records. Let me do a little bit of work. So you can pull up county records. You can pull up the tax records, see who actually owns it, and then figure it out from there. There's a difference between if they're saying that they're a major property management company managing, well known in the area. But if you've never heard of the company before, I wouldn't call them and trust them. I'd look out. You want to be able to call a company and hear when you call Chicago style management, you don't just have someone pick up the phone and go, hey, how's it going? It's going to, hey, you've called Chicago style. Please, hit the number that you want to talk to. There's some presence that it's a real company. And both for employment and for rental verification, we want that human element to make sure that we're okay.
And specifically, if you are talking to a landlord, make sure that you ask questions that are relevant to the person's tenure at the property. How long did they live there? When did they move out? That way, when you're looking at the information they provide you, does it match up? Because a lot of times people, I've found anyway, when I was finding fraudulent applications, they will have someone and they'll tell them, hey, this is my name, this is my birthday, this is the information about me you need to know when they verify me, but they won't actually say when they lived there or why they left. You can kind of have a discussion with someone and see if they actually know the person.
Notice you don't want a tenant that just leaves when they're leaving. We have to give 60 or 120-day notice. Our tenants need to give 30-day notices, right? You can't just leave a week before and say, I'm not, you're going to have to pay month's rent.
Right.
And we're getting tenants that have good habits like that. Do they give you notice? Did they live out the lease, right? We don't want someone that lease actually goes for another 6 months and they're leaving because they're being evicted. So is their lease actually over? Are they leaving because the lease is over is another question that I like. To be extra secure, if you can go 2 landlords back, that even better. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're younger. Sometimes they didn't have another landlord or it's been 10 years and they've lived at this place. But sometimes the landlord that they have now just wants to get rid of them and wants them to leave so bad without having to evict them that they'll tell you whatever the hell they want to tell you to get them out. So you got to be careful of that too.
Unfortunate when that happens, but I have had that happen before. And then you find out 2 months later.
Last one I want to talk about on the bad side. Then we're going to go to the good side because I'm going to talk about the good side of this too. But squatters, we thought we got rid of the issue. We thought Illinois was going to save us. They have not. Squatters are still an issue. Cops are not enforcing the rules because it says may and they don't have to. And they're so scared of getting sued that they don't want to do their job. They're frightened that they're going to get in and strong actually arrest someone committing a crime in Chicago at least. So because cops won't do their job, squatters are still an issue. And because of that, the scams going around where people are using AI to scrub your photos and to scrub your ads and make fake ads and sell people your apartment is getting out of control too.
And that's been happening long before AI.
It has. AI is making it easier though, so I think we're seeing it more. Because we're seeing it more, I think we have to be more vigilant on it. But here's the good news. Start getting into the good. We can set up some AI that's scrubbing the internet every day, looking for our listings, making sure that all the listings connect to us as landlords and managers. So if you can create an agent that is data and trying to find someone advertising that's not you and it flags it, you can get ahead of the game a lot quicker. So that's going to be number one, just because it leads in a little bit of how we can use AI. The other side, I know we talked about using AI for rental, pay stubs, et cetera, but we can just have AI write us better descriptions. Gemini's owned by Google, right? So who would know how to rank it? Gemini, you're a market expert. And this gets really, and you got to learn how to use it, right? But by telling it what it's supposed to answer you as and what's going to give you better answers. So can you go ahead and write me a description that is going to rank highly on Google and make sure that liked by people so that we get more clicks. It will scrub data, it will rewrite the ads for you and make sure they're compliant and do all that stuff and give you real good starting point. You still want to edit it. That's the key with all the AI writing. If you're having AI write anything, you still want to edit it, but it's a good starting point.
Especially when you consider fair housing and everything like that. You can't rely 100% on AI to make sure that these things are right because they don't know, it knows the rules, but it doesn't know the rules in the sense that there are times that you can say things that might make sense that we know as real estate agents are illegal.
Yep.
And as an investor, you have to abide by those laws too if you're marketing your own properties. So.
We can take videos, have AI edit the videos, have AI make better videos for it. Do some walkthroughs, things like that. But now I want to talk about renting. The Internet of Things is growing and has more and more devices that we're going to start seeing come through, and I think it's going to be really cool. So talk about how we can actually make our ROI higher, how using some of these things is going to make insurance prices go down, and some of our favorites. So the first one I want to talk about is the leak killers. These guys are monitoring flow pressure of your water and can detect a pinhole leak or a burst pipe and shut off the main water automatically before the basement floods.
How many of those calls? Those calls do we have?
We are just starting to explore this. We haven't installed these yet, but it's something that we're starting to look into and starting to do and exploring with you. But I want to make sure you guys know what's out there right now, man. So that's one. There is acoustic water sensors that can listen to the pipes and find leaks behind walls. And then smart sub-meters. So there's a lot of things that water-wise are super cool that are coming out. I'm going to be honest, they're a little expensive right now. The first iPhone was like $2,000. Now they're like $600, right? Things go down. So the more that buy these, the cheaper it will become. So that's just on the water side. The other side is access control. So whether we're doing self-showings, whether we're letting in a tech so that we don't have to drive out there and let the plumber in, we can open the door from our phones. Smart deadbolts are becoming a thing for both self-guided tours and for, like I said, just letting tenants in, letting tenants not have to carry around a key. I have one on my house. I've been using it for 3 or 4 years now. It locks itself anytime the door shuts. It automatically locks. It uses my fingerprints. They are awesome because you can see everyone going in and out. Tenants can buzz in. Tenants love it because they get to see their guests. They don't have to walk downstairs to see if it's actually the pizza guy. I just saw an episode of Tracker that reminded me how real estate agents used to get into buildings when they don't have the keys and you just buzz everything and see who opens the door. Mm-hmm. That's going to prevent that. You don't have to, people can see it. They're not just going to let anyone in. Remote rekeying is another part of the smart deadbolts is, hey, you don't have to go and hire a locksmith anymore because you just have to put the code in there. Then go and also preventative maintenance when it comes to winter, put in smart thermostats like Google Nest or Ecobee that are going to give the tenants the ability to run the heat and AC from their phone. It also gives you as a landlord a spot to be able to keep track of it and to be able to, if you see that they lowered it to 50 and it's winter because they went on vacation, you can stop that and make sure that it never goes below a certain amount. There's also the same type of thing for smart radiator valves that are keeping it from overheating, keeping leaks from happening, et cetera.
Especially for investors that work with us and have, majority south side buildings, you have those older buildings, the boiler systems. Mm-hmm. That seems really cool to me. The smart radiator valves. Yep. Seems very useful.
No, it's really cool. And the last thing for Internet of Things that are coming out, and we have not played around with these at all. Smart smoke detectors, CO2 detectors. We haven't started installing these at all, but just running a search of what other people are doing. This means that if an alarm goes off, you're going to know right away. You're not going to have that, hey, a section, and they didn't realize that the alarm. But obviously, you're not putting on. But this smoke, when it can call the fire department if there's an actual fire, means that they can get there sooner, and that means the damage is going to be a lot less. Absolutely. We put this in, and I have not researched it at all, but this is something that we used AI for this AI episode to come up with the topics. But noise monitors, I got to look into these. But you can put these into properties, and it will monitor. It doesn't record, doesn't do any kind of safety or any kind of privacy thing. But if the decibels at 2 a.m. start hitting a certain level, it will alert, and that way you can fine tenants for having parties and unauthorized people and all that stuff.
At least 2 or 3 occasions to have parties, stuff like that. That would be useful as well.
Yeah. No.
Because I imagine that a noise monitor has to be a lot cheaper than a whole video system.
Yeah, I would assume too. It's called Minute. Let's see. The sensor price is about $125 to $220. It's a magnetic install and it's battery powered, so it's pretty cool. And automated text messages. It will send in a message to shut up, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, it'll text the tenant.
It will text the tenant. So it will tell the tenant, hey, the party needs to stop from you. This is even cool. This is even cooler. It also has, we got to look into this. I'm going to look into this more, and maybe we'll make some videos on it and see if we can install some places. It also has a smoke detector as part of it. That's what this one can do. Cigarettes and marijuana.
Ooh. Interesting.
So you want to make sure that you stay smoke-free and make sure that those cost of turns. I mean, if you have a tenant and a non-smoking bill, you don't catch it and you don't kick them out or fine them or get it to stop, you're looking at turnover costs that could be double because now those walls, that carpet, that stench does not come out. So being able to do that is huge.
For sure.
I think this is something that is going to be huge as these things grow, right? You have water detection, being able to shut off the valves, keep, saving thousands of dollars in cleanup, making sure that tenants are doing what they're supposed to be doing and making sure they're not destroying the place is going to save thousands of dollars. And by using AI systems like this, we are going to be able to, with the Internet of Things, be able to do a ton of stuff. That is it for this episode. Guys, we're going to take summer break. We'll be back in 6 weeks. I guarantee you in those 6 weeks, the technology that we talked about today will be completely upgraded. That's how crazy this is and the direction it's going. So stay tuned. We're going to be keeping up with this. And, we'll have another episode probably this season, probably in the year 2026. We'll probably have an updated episode for everyone on these Internet of Things, on AI and all that stuff because, man, it's changing every 30 to 60 days. It just keeps changing and changing and changing.
It's unbelievable.
So, you got anything fun planned for the summer, Dave?
Nothing till the end of the summer. We're doing Orlando. We do that every year.
Nice. Very, very cool. Very cool. No, and for us, it's very similar. We'll probably go on a few quick weekend trips and a few just get out of the city. I think just getting out of Chicago, even going to, a couple states over, skip Indiana, screw that. I'm trying to take the Bears, but skipping up to Wisconsin or to Michigan and just getting out in nature, I think, helps a lot. Like we'll be releasing episodes on the flip that we're working on. We just started this a few weeks ago. We're cleaning it out. And guys, this hoarder situation is crazy. Watch our shorts that are insane. We're going to have the full video of turning it from what it looks like now to a sellable house. And yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. All right, guys, we'll see you early September for the next episode. In the meantime, like I said, guys, check out the old episodes if you haven't seen them all.
We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, guys.